Dear students, good morning. This is Manisha Shukla, and in this video I am going to explain the poem The Patriot. It is composed by Robert Browning. I want to tell you that this poem is actually a dramatic monologue. How it is dramatic monologue? It is a dramatic monologue because here the poet expresses not himself but assumes a character and speaks his thought at a particular moment in his life. With the help of this poem, Robert Browning wants to show the contrast of a person's life, that how fortune sometimes favors us and how sometimes it goes against. A person who is victorious at one time can be a defeated once or ignored, neglected or humiliated by the people. In this poem, though it was not told that who was the person, but as the title says Patriot, so it assumes that he may be a soldier. So with the help of stanzas, we will try to understand this poem. The first paragraph says, "It was roses, roses all the way, with metal mixed in my path like mad. The house roofs seemed to heave and sway. The church spires flamed. Such flags they had a year ago on this very day." We can understand. The narrator says this very day means the same day. He was depicting story of 1 year ago, 365 days before. He wants to say, he remembers that 1 year ago, the scene of the same street was different. It was roses, roses. Roses means celebration. Roses means affection. Roses means love. So, it was roses, roses all the way. He wants to say that 1 year ago, there was everywhere roses thrown or sprinkled by the people on my way. People were celebrating. They were giving me roses. They were showering roses with metals. Metal is an evergreen shrub. So he says that one year ago, people were so happy with my victory, with my achievement, that they were showering roses with metals, and they were as celebrating, they were as much happy that they are getting mad to see just one glimpse of mine. They were very, very happy. They were extremely happy to see me. They want to celebrate. They want to show their happiness. They want to show their joy. They want to show their respect for me. The house roofs seemed to heave and sway. Means the roofs of the houses were crowded by the people in such a grand way, and too many people were gathered or assembled on the roofs that almost the roofs were seemed to be heaved and swaying. It seems that the buildings were moving. The buildings were shaking just because of the loads of people. People were craning their necks to see one glimpse of that man. And the church spires and the peaks of the church were decorated with such kind of flags that had been a color of red like flames. So all the peaks, all the points of churches were looking like flames as the torches were kept over there, decorated over there to make or to celebrate the occasion with more happiness. And that was happening, everything was happening just 1 year ago at the same day that was his present. He was making a contrast between the day which he is facing today and the day which was the last year, the same day. People were very, very happy. They want to celebrate. They want to show their respect, their happiness, their joy, their affection by showering flowers and metals. They were getting mad. They were excited and the roofs of the buildings were seen to be moved, and the church spires were looking like flames. In the second paragraph, it says, the air broke into mist with bells. Means there were too much noise everywhere. Every bells of the church were being clanged, were being sounded. Everybody was shouting, shrieking, crying with excitement. The old walls rocked with the crowd of cries. Means the old walls of the city were being covered, were being just pulled down, just put down, just because of the crowd of the people. People were very happy and they were crying, they were shrieking just to show their happiness. And there was too much noise in the atmosphere that air almost converts into mist. Like it was too sounded, it was too noisy that nothing can be heard in that noise. Everywhere there was a sound of people, there was sound of happiness, there was sound of excitement and joy. People were very happy. They wanted to give me everything, whatever I decide, whatever I ask for. Had I said, good folk, oh my dear friends, mere noise repels, only the shouts and all, only the shrieks, only the loud voice of yours shows the respect of yours for me. And at that time, people were too happy. If I had asked to them just to get that sun which has been above on the sky, they would definitely give me. They were ready to give me. And afterwards, they must have asked me that what else I can do. Mean to say, that day people were so happy that if I would ask anything in the world, anything, whatever they could do, they must have agreed and they must have said that what best I could do for you. People were so happy. They wanted to show their respect anyhow, anything, whatever shows respect or whatever could show their happiness, they wanted to do at that time. That was the scene of 1 year before, just before 365 days, just the contrast of today. Now, the contrast stands. Now he says in third paragraph, the third paragraph is changed. Now, alak. Alak means it is an expression of showing disappointment or just a kind of regret. The Patriot says that it was I who tried to do the impossible for his countryman. It was he who led for it, for everything, what he could do, and got it for his countrymen. He also says that no one else could have accomplished it. Means nobody was there in the world who can do such kind of brave task which he did for his countrymen. And according to him, there was nothing left which he hadn't done for his country. And he says, you see my harvest, and you could see what I got right now, what I have been harvested. Harvested means, you see, as a farmer reap a harvest. Okay, they cultivated something and they get as the crops, as the their fruits of that plants. So in the same way, he says that whatever I did my country, it was according me the best part of my life. But I could see that what I am harvesting right now, what I reap, what I did something in their favor, but I am getting something in my against. The very day, at the same day, just after 365 days, what I felt that were the best things which I could do at that time. And now a year has run and I am getting such a worse experience that the things which I expected was not as good. Means the people are ready to give me the punishment for what I did. They are so angry that they are not even trying to consider my mistakes. Whatever they understood, what the deed which I did, they considered it that my mistake, and they are ready to give me punishment. So in the next stanza, it says, there's nobody on the housetop now. Once again, the contrast is being shown here. He says, 1 year before, the means buildings were just overcrowded. There was no place to stand. The people were craning their necks. But right now, there was nobody on the housetops. Housetops, the roofs were completely out of people. Just a parasite few at the window set. Parasite means the people, those who are paralyzed, means unable to come out, unable to stand. Only those people, those who are unable, those who are miserable, they were sitting at their window sills. Nobody else was there for me to see. And nobody was eager to see my glimpse. Nobody was eager to see my journey. For the best of the sight is all allowed, because at that time people were eager to see one of my glimpse, and at that time, at present time, the people thought, or according to the people, the best sight of mine will be available just near to the shambles gate at scaffold foot. And most of the people who were gathered over there, assembled over there, so they could see the closest sight of my punishment, which according them as a correct decision done by them. So most of the people were gathered, were assembled near the shamble gate, at the shamble gate, at the scaffold foot, where I have been decided to get punishment, where I have been sentenced to the death. So people were so annoyed. People's opinions were changed in a different way. That at once, at 1 year, just 1 year before, they were showering their love, and now they become so cruel, now they become so annoyed that they wanted to see my death given by them. I go in the rain more than needs. It can be understood in that way that it was raining outside, but according to me, that at that time people were showering flowers, but right now people were showing stones. They were flinging stones on him, and the rain of the stones were more than it is required. It was not as much required. I hadn't done such a impossible or something that should require that much hate. So people are they are flinging stones at me more than it is required. And he was being tied with a rope. His hands were being tied with a rope, and just the continuous means stitching of that, just a cut had been made in his wrist. Both his wrists were behind, they were tied with a rope, and he thought by the feel, and he could realize, and just because of that tightly bind rope, he felt that it was just had too many scratches in his wrist. He feels his forehead was also bleeding. It is due to the stones that were hurled, that were thrown over him, just because of the misdeed done by him during the year. People were very sure, they were very angry for so-called misdeed done by the Patriot during the year. It is an extremely pitiable scene. It is very, very kind. It is in direct contrast with the imagery of the first and the second stanza. But the reader is in the dark about the misdeeds. What were the wrongdoings? What he had done wrong? That part is kept vague. It was not clear. It is ironical that they have completely forgotten his good deeds. Today he is walking in disgrace, devoid of sympathy. Not a single sympathy of any human being he could get at that time. It was just the contrast of the last year when he was getting such respect by the people. The next stanza, the last stanza. He says, "Thus I entered and thus I go." Everybody could see my journey. Thus I entered means I was a victorious one, and I'm going with such a misdeed that was either done by me or not. He doesn't know. Entrance, when he was a victorious man, people showered flower, people were appreciating him. And when they found him guilty, when they found him as a culprit, they decided death for him. People have dropped down dead. They thought that he should be sentenced to death. So that was the thing that was actually paid by the world. The people had given me their justice. They had done justice according them. What does thou owe? So according him, there is nothing that he should be owed to the countryman. He had been already paid for all the respect, for all the love, affection that had been given by the people once. So he was right now not owed by them. Me, God might question. Now instead, it is God shall repay, I am safer so. He feels that it is good that he is leaving this place where he was sentenced to the death. So he feels safe when he was going in the lap of God. According to him, his real repayment will be done by him. He places his trust in God. He believes in God as he knows that he has not committed any moral wrong. And according him, the Almighty is just and fair. Therefore, he is safe with him, as he will not have to face any more undeserving punishment. He will be justly rewarded for his deeds, and God will make no more other questions to him, and he himself will be questioned by the God for the things which he had faced on the earth, just as a contrast of his deeds. Thank you.